So good afternoon all, and thank you for joining us today for the Sourcing Adda webinar. My name is Chinmay. I'm speaking from Sourcing Adda. So for those who don't know what Sourcing Adda is, the Sourcing Adda is a platform for recruiters and sources to come together and discuss things about recruitment and sourcing. So we have got blog postings, we have got forums and discussions, we have got monthly tweet chats, we have got monthly webinars, we have got monthly sourcing contest. So for those who haven't joined Sourcing Adda yet, please join Sourcing Adda and just explore more. So today's webinar is on Chrome extensions, which is Lippl and Connect6, and we have Sandeep Singh joining us today, and will be hosting this webinar. So I now would like to pass on the controls to Sandeep. Okay. So I hope there are no technical issues and we can start the webinar. Okay, Sandeep. Good afternoon, Sandeep.
Hi, Chinmay. Good afternoon.
Okay. I'll just pass on the mic controls to you. So please go ahead.
All right. Great. Am I live?
Yes, Sandeep, you're live. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. A very good evening to everyone who's tuned in so far. And welcome to this webinar by Sourcing Adda on Chrome extensions for effective sourcing and recruiting. We in this webinar are going to be talking about two such extensions. One is Lippl and another one is Connect6 People Directory extension by Connect6.
Sorry to interrupt, Sandeep, but we are not able to see your screen.
I hope my screen is visible now, Chinmay?
Visible. Please go ahead.
All right, great. So I was saying we are going to talk about two such extensions, Lippl and Connect6. The first and the foremost thing, both these extensions are absolutely free for you to use. So you can, you need not pay anything or any kind of fees to use these tools. That's one of the amazing things about these tools. And we will see how exactly are we going to use these tools, in the further course of the webinar. But before I start, let me give you a quick introduction. My name is Sandeep Singh. I was saying, I was showing you this is what the extensions look like, when they've been installed and added to your Chrome browser. They act like switches or regular switches, and you need to activate them before you start using. Just like you see it is in switched off mode, you just click on it once and it is activated, and same with the Connect6 extension as well. So we will now go and see these extensions in detail one by one. Let's start with Lippl. So to tell you about Lippl is basically a very useful extension when it comes to unlocking profiles on LinkedIn which are beyond a certain degree of connection. So as you all know, we were not able to see, or we are still not able to see, the detailed profiles of the people who are outside of your network on LinkedIn. Though LinkedIn earlier this year has promised and announced that they will give access to the second degree and the third degree connections, and they will not hide the complete details of the profile. It has still not been rolled out yet. It will take some time, but then till the time it is not, it is not completely active, you can still use Lippl for unlocking the third degree profiles as well. Once that is rolled out, you will still be able to use Lippl to unlock the profiles which are outside of your network, which you do not have any share any common connection, beyond a certain degree of connections. These are certain ways how you install and download and install Lippl on your browser extension, which we've already covered earlier. This is particularly how the LinkedIn LIPL would help you unlock the third degree profiles or the third degree connections, which till now were hidden from you, but then LinkedIn is going to give you access to these profiles also. So we will see how you will do this. But Now the best application of this particular extension is to unlock profiles which look like this, on your screen. When you're conducting a search, I'm sure you must have come across profiles which look like this on your search. With Lippl, you will be able to unlock. So, once you've installed and you've opened, a particular LinkedIn profile which you want details about, Lippl will open in, a sidebar just like this on your left-hand sides of your screen. Once you click on the interface here, the three dotted lines that you see, sidebar will open up with an option of which will give you an option to search this profile on Lippl. Once you click on Lippl, you see in the next window right next to the bar that it has unlocked the profile for you. Now it gives you the details of the executive. If you see, she's, this particular profile, which, before unlocking was only that you knew about the profile was an HR director at British Petroleum. Now you can see, the name of the executive, and you can verify the same thing. She's an HR director at BP in India. This is what Lippl does, for you. This is how exactly Lippl, helps you unlocking the third-degree profiles. Let's see some live examples, of this particular tool in action. So I here have, conducted a search wherein, I was looking for compensation and benefits, executive from across industries. So this is just a a sample search for you. I've used a couple of alternatives for that title. I'm conducting a title search here, and a couple of ways in which you can write the designations and the compensation using Boolean strings. If you, I'm sure all of you, are aware what Boolean strings are, but then some of you who've recently joined us and are new to Boolean, I recommend you go and visit our and take a look at our webinar, our earlier webinar on using Boolean strings for sourcing. Chinmay will share the links of all the previous webinars with you at the end of the webinar. Getting back to our search. As I mentioned, the targeted title search that I was doing. I was looking for people wherein across India, and these are certain parameters by which you can refine your search as per your requirement. Now you have complete access to the first degree and the second degree connections of that come up in your search. So there's no need to use Lippl on those connections. As I mentioned earlier, where it comes handy is unlocking the profiles who are beyond your network, or who are separated by you by more than 3 degrees of separation. And third degree members or the group members whom do not have a very significant network in common. As as LinkedIn again promised earlier, they will give you access, but till the time it doesn't happen, you can still use Lippl and third degree connections. I have about 127 results here. These are basically from Mumbai, comp and ben executives from Mumbai across industries, who are my third degree connections and beyond, and some of the members whom I share some groups with. So as I mentioned, these are my group members. So probably I do not have access to their profiles as yet. LinkedIn has promised us to give the access. It will happen, but then till the time it doesn't, we can always use Lippl to use or unlock these kind of profiles. So if you see, all I can see here is Kritika, and I cannot see her last name. She is a manager comp and ben in Mumbai with Tata Motors. When I open her profile in a new tab, this is what it looks like to me. If I were to unlock this particular profile using Lippl, this is how, once you've opened a particular profile, this is how the Lippl sidebar will look like. Once you click on the interface, it will give you an option to search Once I click on search, it will open a new window, and what it will give you is the unlocked profile. You have Kritika Thakur, who's a manager, comp and Ben, the same picture, and she's with Tata Motors. Now your recruiters, you have the name, you can use any method to get in touch and contact, if she is a relevant candidate for you, whatever method, suits you, is, most effective for you, connect with her, using that particular method. This is how, Lippl comes in handy in unlocking the third degree connections, which, as it is, LinkedIn is going to make life easier for us recruiters soon, but until the time it doesn't happen, use Lippl to unlock these profiles. The best implication and the application of this particular tool would be unlocking the profiles which are beyond your network. So something that looks like this. This particular profile, the lady or the gentleman is a manager, comp and Ben at HR, comp and Ben HR at General Motors. That's the only information that is accessible to me on LinkedIn. But using Lippl search, again, when I open this profile, I will have the same interface. I click on the sidebar to open it, hit search, and what it will give me is the unlock profile. Suresh Babu, use the method that is works best for you to connect and contact if that person is relevant. Let us see another live example of this. So for example, if I were to refine my search only to and restrict it only to my third degree connections and more, I probably will get a little more out of degree LinkedIn profiles in the search result. Let's go to the last page. That's the probability where most of such profiles occur usually. All right. All right. So I have a senior consultant, comp and Ben at Top Gear Consultants. I do not have access to her details on LinkedIn, but let's see if Lippl helps me in finding out at least the name of the person whom I can connect with for my search. Right, Sanjeet Vasudeva seems to be, the relevant profile here. But I had another example which I had ran for you guys. So a senior comp and Ben executive at Capgemini. Some of you guys may also be aware of the executive. If I show you the unlocked name, this guy is Vineet Iyer, who's currently a comp and Ben manager with Capgemini. So this is how you can use Lippl to unlock the profiles. It works maximum of the times. There's hardly 1% chance that it may not work, depending on the depending on the skill or the query that you're running. If it is very generic, it may give you multiple results, but then generally it works very effectively in unlocking third degree profiles for you. Moving on, the second extension that we're going to talk about is Connect6. Now, what I think of Connect6 is that it is a very versatile extension, not only useful for only sourcing, but it can also be used in multiple ways while browsing the web, browsing anything that has details about any people from any background, people from any ethnicity, people from any race, religion, profession listed on there. This will give you a good insight, good information about people. yes, you can use it very effectively in your searches, and I'll show you how. But before that, I just thought we are discussing Connect6, so I'll tell you about the offering that Connect6 offers. They have a people search engine called Connect6 People Search, and an extension which is an extension of the people search. In addition to giving you real-time search results in the same window that you conduct your searches on. That's called Connect6 People Directory. Let's see how the people search engine looks like. This is how the people search engine looks like. It is similar to other people search engines, but then it has some very good refining tools that are included in the search engine, like the sources, skills, companies, and schools. If you open the profiles, it gives you access to the contact details as well. Whatever that is available and that can be aggregated from other search engines is all put in the search results here. This gives you, I was talking about the refining part. It lets you refine your results from on the basis of these social networks as well. So if you see, it aggregates profile from About Me, Foursquare, Indeed, Meetup, Twitter, Behance, Google Plus. So when you're conducting a search, it just does not conduct a search on LinkedIn, but then it conducts search on all of these networks at a time, giving you dynamic results from all these platforms. When we're covering people search engines, I think we will talk about this particular search engine in detail. But then let's move on to our Chrome extension. So as I mentioned, it displays information about a particular candidate or a particular profile in a sidebar on the right hand side, giving you links to all possible profiles that this particular candidate or a person has on social media. This is how it looks like on Twitter. I believe Nitesh is one of the is with us here today. Nitesh, I hope you don't mind me using your name here. But then when you hover, you don't even need to click on a particular profile. You simply need to hover your cursor on the name of the profile. What it gives you is a sidebar with a brief snapshot of the profile, which is again aggregated from multiple websites and put it into as a snapshot for you in the sidebar itself. It also gives you links to his LinkedIn profile, his Facebook profile, his Twitter profile, his Google Plus profiles. It also gives you his contact details if at all he's made it public at any of these social networks. So you do not need to go and conduct individual searches on all of these networks. Just simply do a search on Twitter maybe and hover on the name of the person who you think is relevant for your searches or your mandates. You will see a brief bio about the guy in the same window, and his presence on the web, if at all there is any, all in the same window. This is how it can be used in LinkedIn. If at all, for example, you don't want to open up a profile and take a detailed look at his profile, simply hover on the name. You will see a sidebar popping out, which gives you a brief about his background, which is mentioned on his LinkedIn profile and other profiles as well. Click on more and you'll be able to read more about him. It gives you his employment details, his location details, his education details, and links to his profile. So Sandeep is on LinkedIn, Sandeep is on Facebook, he's on Twitter, Google Plus, and he also blogs. I think a chief technology officer, if I am running a search, I may be willing to take a look at what he writes about and what all are his interests outside of technology. That's how it can be used on Facebook, LinkedIn. This is about the same implication, the same application with Facebook as well. This gives you result. So if you're conducting a graph search on Facebook, conduct a graph search with targeted parameters, look at the search results, use Connect6 by hovering on the name of the search results that you get, and you will get the similar insight into that particular candidate's background in a sidebar, which is prompted by Connect6. And conduct a Google search. Conduct a site search on LinkedIn or any other search for that matter on Google. Hover your cursor on the search results. What it will give you is a sidebar with all the information that we covered so far. This was Himanshu Limai. When I hovered onto Himanshu Limai's link, it gave me a brief introduction about him and links to his live examples of these things, how they actually look like in when you probably are conducting a search live. This is with Twitter. I may not conduct a search for you here, but then, for example, I am a part of a lot of lists, or for example, we sources use a lot of lists and make lists for targeted skills that we generally and regularly recruit for. Instead of opening each and every profile in detail, you can use Connect6 on the list members, on the members of the list that you have. Twitter lets you create only a bio in 140 characters, which is not sufficient. So what you could also take help of is this extension. For example, if I were to look at the members of sourcing champs, if I was sourcing for a recruiter's position in my organization, what I would do is I would probably try and see who all are the members and use Connect6 to give me little more insight on the profiles of the group members. So for example, if I hover on this particular profile's name, it gives me a sidebar and tells me she's a talent sourcing executive who does lateral hiring at WNS Global Services. This is how you can use it with Twitter. Facebook. So as I mentioned this, as I mentioned to you earlier as well, this can not only be used for sourcing, but it can also be used to get insights, information about anything and everything that you're browsing about on the web. For example, I am attending this talent acquisition and sourcing conclave sometime next month, and I want to know who all are attending, just to be sure. I apologize for the inconvenience there. All right, we'll make it real quick. If I were to look at profiles and do a bit of understand as to what kind of people are going to be attending that kind of a conclave that I am going to be a part of, I simply can use Connect6 to give me insights into the attendees who are going to be attending a particular event. This can also be used for any technology events that a particular company organizes, to check the attendees details also. This gives me, when I hover on Anshuman Mukherjee's name, it gives me a brief background about Anshuman, what he does. Currently works with Capgemini, and his email address as well, plus links to his LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus profiles. This is how you can use Connect6 with Facebook. And I will, let's see, for example, let's do a targeted search for your requirements. If, for example, I did a site search on Twitter for Java developer, and specifically from Pune, excluding all the job tweets and the job advertisements from my results, what I see is a long list of results that I get. All you need to do is, instead of opening the profile in a separate window, which will just give me 140 characters about the profile of the candidate, if that candidate has mentioned it on Twitter. If not, then probably it's a dead end. But then using Connect6, you get her LinkedIn profile, you get access to her Twitter, you know where she's working, you know what's her location, and she is a software developer in Java at Mobisol. So this is how you can use Connect6 to locate your particular candidate that you identified from your targeted searches on any of the websites, any of the social networks, in one window, giving you a brief snapshot of the profile and the links to their social presence. If you click on the picture here, it will give you the search results from the the Connect6 people search engine, which looks like this for your reference. So this was Lippl and Connect6. I hope you find these tools useful, and I hope I gave you a good description and good examples of how to use these tools in your searches. Just in case if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us. We will be more than happy to answer. A quick look at what we take home from this webinar today. It's a both, as both tools, as we covered, are free to use. They Lippl specifically is used to unlock third-degree profiles and profiles who are outside of your network for free. It can be used to if you use the shortcuts. These are some of the shortcuts which can be used with Lippl. If you use these shortcuts, you can conduct these searches even faster. And Connect6, as I mentioned, a very versatile extension for sourcing as well as managing your social networks, plus doing a research on any and every assignment that you work on, in terms of the kind of people who are in the industry, the kind of organizations, the kind of talent available in a particular industry or the segment. I guess that concludes our demonstration of how to use Lippl and Connect6 for your sourcing and recruiting efforts. Over to you, Chinmay.
Okay, thank you, Sandeep. Thanks for your time this afternoon. I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar, this informative webinar. Well, Lippl and Connect6 are indeed free, cool tools look out for while sourcing and recruiting, which will make your daily job very easier to unlock the out-of-network profiles or the third-degree ones, or Connect6, wherein it will help you to find other platforms, other social network platforms of your candidates where you can reach them through. Okay, so Sandeep, thanks a lot from Sourcing Adda. If you guys want to ask Sandeep a question, you can mention him on Twitter and use hashtag Sourcing Adda webinar and put up your question on Twitter directly. You can also connect with him on LinkedIn. Okay, so now coming to the end of this webinar, and I would like to talk about the sourcing contest which is going on. At the start of this webinar, you might have noticed that we had a poll saying that did you participate in this sourcing contest for this month? Okay, so there are a few of them who haven't heard of it. So every month basically we have a sourcing contest wherein we have some 10 questions, and we have some questions for you guys to solve, and for every person who solves the correct answer, we have a gift, and the first one to solve the all questions right will get an iPod this time, and he will also get an entry into the TaskOn, which is Sourcing Adda's annual event. Okay, so where we have got 12 participants, 12 winners of all 12 months participating in the mega challenge live in TaskOn. So coming to TaskOn, so if you guys might have seen this website, okay, so TaskOn is Talent Acquisition and Sourcing Conclave, which will be held on Wednesday the 15th April this year at Hotel Hyatt in Pune. So this is an opportunity for all the recruitment and the sourcing professionals to upgrade themselves with the latest recruiting and sourcing techniques, and also to meet the next level creative and innovative thought leaders. Okay, so TaskOn 15 will consist of keynote presentations. It will have panel discussions, case studies. It will have a lot of networking going around, and the mega contest. Okay, so if you are a recruitment professional, you definitely need to be a part of TaskOn. Okay, so if you need more information about how you can register for the event, please visit the below website, which is tascon.in. You can also contact the below telephone numbers or email us, and we'll be glad to help you. Okay, thank you all for your time today. Hope you like this month's webinar. Thank you all, and have a good evening and a great weekend. Bye bye.